Okay, we're doing the continuing the parabolas here. We're doing we did the ones that were had the vertex at the origin, left, right, up, and down, the vertex at the origin. Now we're going to translate those parabolas. So the equation gets a little more complicated. So if it has a vertical axis going up and down, it's this top equation, and it's similar to what we did with the circles, right? The h goes with the x, and the k goes with the y, right? So, and that offset is just the same way we did before. So um, the h goes with the x, even when it's going the other way, even if it's going the left and right, the h is still with the x value, the k is still with the y value. Okay, so that's where the vertex is. That hk value, that's my vertex. Okay, so that's the coordinates of the vertex. And you can see they have some examples here. What's the vertical axis? If this value of c is greater than 0, it's going to open upward, but the vertex is going to be offset. The vertex is at hk. And the directrix is a horizontal line, and the formula for that is k minus c. Okay, the c is there from the equation. And going left and right, it's going to open to the right. If c is greater than 0, it's going to be offset. Remember that this is the x value, so this is hk, even though it's on the right side where we normally see the y. That goes with the x value, that goes with the k value. Okay, so keep that in mind while we're doing these problems. Okay, so you have problems like this. Write the equation for the parabola with a vertex 1, 3 and a focus negative 1, 3. Okay, so if I write, just make a quick little sketch of this parabola. Okay, so if the vertex is at 1, 3, so that's like up over here somewhere. So 1, 3 is like there. That's the vertex. Okay, and the focus is at negative 1, 3. So that's the vertex, and negative 1, 3 is the focus. Okay, so I know that this is a parabola. The focus has to be inside the parabola, the curve of the parabola. So this parabola is going to go something like this. It's going to open up to the left because the focus has to be inside that. And it's going to have a line of symmetry going right down this where y equals 3. It's going to be the line of symmetry. Okay, so the focus lies to the left of the vertex implies the parabola has a horizontal axis at y equals 3. Okay, it opens to the left. And the distance between the vertex and the focus is, we went from negative 1 to positive 1, so that's 2. So that means that that is what c is. That is the definition of what that variable c is. It's the distance between the vertex and the focus. Okay, so when we go from that way, it's negative 2 because it opens up to the left. Okay, so that's how we know it's negative and not positive, because it opens up to the left. Okay, so how do we write the equation for it? Since it opens up to the left, we got to use this form of the offset equation where the y minus k part is squared. So the y minus k part is squared is the one we use for that, equals 4c, and the x minus h. Okay, so we know most of these things that we have here, right? We know the vertex. The vertex is this is the h k. Right? So we know the h is going to be 1. We know the k is going to be 3. We figured out c was going to be negative 2. So after we do that, it's just a matter of plugging in those numbers to this general equation. And you get this. So you get the y minus 3 squared equals 4 times negative 2 and x minus 1. Right? And then it just looks like this is the equation for that parabola that goes through, has that vertex and that focus. And if we graph it, it looks like this, where the focus is inside the vertex, and that's the equation of what it looks like. So it's not too hard. If they give you the vertex and the focus, it's really pretty easy. It's kind of a plug-in problem to figure out what the equation of a line is. So don't panic on that. Okay, graphing a parabola given by the equation this mess. Okay, so x equals negative 1/8, y plus 3 squared plus 2. Okay, so our first clue here on graphing this is this, it's not in the standard form we're needed to see. Okay, but we know that it has a y plus 3 squared. So we know it's got the y squared part of it. So this is going to open up left or right, right? It's going to be one of those parabolas. And it's probably going to be offset by something. So we need to figure out where the vertex is and where we need to rewrite it in the standard form to figure out where the vertex is and what this value of C is. So we can put the focus at the right spot and the directrix also. Okay, so to rewrite that in that form, we need to get the y, we need to get this part of the equation, the y plus 3 by itself, okay, because that's what this is. This is the y plus whatever squared. We need to get the y plus 3 squared by itself. So the first step is to move this 2. So we subtract 2 from each side, and it looks like this. X minus 2 equals negative 1/8 y plus 3 squared. Okay, so we got to get rid of the negative 1/8, so we're going to multiply both sides by negative 8. Okay, so then it's going to look like this. So we get the negative 8 equals that. So we've got it isolated, right? We've got the y plus 3 squared, that's isolated. And if we just turn it around, then it's in the standard form that we can work with, that we can get stuff to graph it with. Okay, so first thing we can pick off of this one, I'll go to the next slide here. That's our equation in the standard form. So the first thing we can pick off of here is what? Where's the vertex? Okay, so the vertex is, now remember that this is, the x value, that's the x is negative 2, and when it's, this is y minus a negative 3, that's why it's a negative 3 instead of a plus 3. And we know that this 8 equals 4c, so c has to equal negative 2. So when the c is negative, that means what? Does it open up to the left or open up to the right? We know it's a left-right because it's a y plus something squared. Okay, so when it's negative, it opens up to the left. Okay, so we've got the vertex, we've got the value of c, and we know it opens up to the left. And we can figure out the focus is 2 units to the left of the vertex, right? Because the focus is wherever the c away from the vertex. So take this value as c, it opens up to the left, that's the vertex. 2 plus 1 plus 2 units is going to give me the focus inside like that. The directrix is 2 units to the right of the vertex, so it's going to be over here at x equals 4, right? This is, we would add 2 to the x and subtract 2, add 2 to go to the right to get the, add 2 to go to the right to get the x equals 4, and this would be subtract 2 to get the 0, 3 for the focus. I put the focus on there? Oh yeah, the focus is right here at 0, 3. Okay, so the graph is going to look like this. When we graph it, we're going to start out with the, at 2, 3, there's the vertex. The focus is over here at 0, negative 3, and we can graph some points. So you want to graph points that, if we can start out with y equals 0, Well, the y equals 0 doesn't do too much for this one. It kind of actually is not a great point. We want to make this equation numbers that make some nice numbers over here. So we have the 2, the 3 for the vertex. Where does x equal to 0? Where is this value equal to 0? Well, we can get that equal to 0 if this part here equals -2, right? And we can get that from this, what times -8? 1/8, what divided by 8 equals -2. Well, if this value is, we have to square it. So if that value is 1, so it makes it 4, so we get a 16 there. So 1 plus 3 is 4, 4 squared is 16, 1/8 to 16 is -2. So that's how they got this point. Did the same thing with -7. They put a -7 in here, gave us -4 squared is +4 times 1/8 gave me -2 and 0. So you can find those 0 points pretty easy on graphing this. So you kind of have to play around with the graphing and plug some points in and just see where the x would be for different values of y. And that's pretty much it for these offsetting the equation. It's not as hard as it looks. So that's it. We'll see you guys tomorrow in class.